Hey guys, welcome to Grounded Roots. I am Jason, and I think I just got to 250 subs, which is insane to me. I decided last night to do a little video just to, ask for those last few subs to get prove my son wrong, make him eat crow. And it worked. So I'm here late at night sitting on the couch, being as unscripted as I can, I guess, trying to be myself. And please, if you're watching this, whoever's watching this, as I've said in the other video, click on the sub button, please. And actually, comments are extremely helpful. I noticed my son today, my older boy, clicked on a short that wasn't doing anything, and he said, commenting for the YouTube algorithm or something like that. And someone else commented, and then it actually worked. It started running, and I got a lot more views. And I'm enjoying doing this, This is, well, I'm enjoying getting better at it. And, I have a long way to go. I'm not going to make a living at this anytime soon, but to have a monetized, legitimate channel that actually makes me money, even if it's just a little bit, would feel pretty good after all that hard work. And these videos, as much as I enjoy doing them, they do take some time, and especially the early ones, they took a lot longer. I had to really think about this, and I was a lot more self-conscious on camera, and I would make cuts, and if I didn't like the way I looked or whatever it was, I might change the video or redo it, and you'd make a lot more mistakes as well. But there are no mistakes. You start to realize that the whole point of this is just to be yourself. So, like I said, right about, is it this side? Yeah. I think, I don't know. Down below, if you can click on the sub button, that would be super helpful. And then just comment, put a heart or something, whatever you want. So, not sure exactly what to talk about today. I have a few things on my mind. It's windy as hell, so you might hear that. And I don't have my microphone plugged in, so hopefully the sound's okay. But so today, my wife has been doing the Joe Dispenza course, which is great. And I should tell a story about Joe. So when I first awoke, not when I first awoke. So after I decided I was going to start living off my retirement savings and healing myself, and I was going to put a serious effort into healing all this trauma and damage, and stopping drinking, all of this stuff, I was going to put a serious effort into doing this. We noticed which meant I was going to take some time off, and I hadn't started making many videos or anything like that. So I had airline points from using a credit card that we had, which quite a few, enough to go on a vacation. And my wife had taken some time off work as well for healing, the same concept. And we decided we were going to go to Mexico on these points. Why not? We're both sitting around. We could really use some sun. It was springtime. This was the end of April, going into March. And so we booked this vacation. Now, I wanted to book it at a specific resort. We went to the Mine Riviera because it was affordable, and our airline flew there, and we wouldn't have to spend any extra money. So we booked an all-inclusive resort. Now I initially looked at this, and I found one that was in our price range, which was free with the points we had, and I thought it was in a good location and everything. And then we needed a few $100s, I believe. I can't remember what it was, but I had to head into town to do some banking. And while I was gone, just to get that extra, I had to put some money on the credit card. I can't remember what the hell it was. It was something like that. I had to go to a bank machine to make sure that we could complete that transaction when we were booking the thing. And so I went, and Amanda stayed, and she was looking at different resorts, and her intuition told her to book this resort, a different resort. So I looked at it, and I didn't like it as much, but she was adamant that we should book this one. So I said, okay, we booked it. Now, on the way to the airport to fly out, we stopped to get some swim trunks or something and sunglasses, cheap sunglasses. And we went to a bookstore at a strip mall that's on the way to the airport. And I was just quickly glancing, and I looked and I saw this book on the shelf by Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. It's probably his most famous book. And I put the book down. Then Amanda was looking at books, and she said, what about this book? Did you look at this one? I said, yeah, I just picked that one up. I was going to buy it, and then I changed my mind. And so I said, I'm going to take it. That's a sign, obviously. Both of us touched the book. So I put the book in my bag, didn't think anything of it. Then I read another book that was amazing. Can't remember offhand the name of it, but I was holding that book in my hand when I boarded the flight, and the woman at the check-in when we're getting on the plane said, "Oh, you're reading that book. That'll really open your eyes." And it was about the future of humanity and such things. So that was the first time I ran into someone else on the awakening journey, and she asked me quickly, like, how long has it been? And then I had to be rushed onto the flight, and I was actually devastated because I hadn't sat down and talked to anyone who had actually been on this journey as well. And obviously she had, because she recognized right away. She had read that book. And so I got on the plane dejected, and that I couldn't stay longer and talk to this woman. And we flew to Mexico. Now that was an interesting trip in itself, just the flying process, and having the realizations that I have now over how this goes, and how difficult it is to stay grounded while you're being cattle herded along to your destination on these airlines and airports. And I have opinions on too. Like, let's say, well, look at what Dolores Cannon says about these extras, they call them. Well, that is my opinion. And there's no worse place to run into these entities or these fillers than in an airport. Because how would you ever know who these people are? The system can just make them up, and you would never know the difference. So, anyway, getting off topic. We flew to Mexico. We landed at this resort. It turned out to be an amazing resort. It was perfect. Our room was perfect. Everything went perfect. Now, there was 3 resorts, all considered the same resort, but you stayed in the middle one. And anyone who's done these, we stayed in the middle one. Anyone who's done these sorts of trips knows you're allowed to go to all of them, but you generally you stay in your main resort. But for whatever reason, we kept drifting to the beach on the right. We liked it was quieter, but we didn't have a real reason as to why we kept going that way. And we kept going and hanging out on that beach and eating at those restaurants. And on, I don't know, it was probably the last 3 days of the trip, we were sitting, we were on a sun chairs under a palm tree on this beautiful beach, enjoying ourselves. And I remember Amanda saying, is this such and such who just walked by? So it was a popular YouTuber that we knew that she followed. And I said, I think it is. And so I said, I'll go introduce myself. And when I did, it ended up being that person. We ended up having lunch with them, and then we had lunch again with them the next day, or we met them by the pool. We got to talking with them, and they were there with some other popular YouTubers who we also followed, which was really cool. It was an interesting experience. We were really nice people, and then we discovered why they were there in the first place. And the whole reason they were there is they were on a Joe Dispenza retreat. Now, their significant others were in on doing the retreat, and they were at the beach waiting for them to be, there for moral support, I guess, after, because it is quite a strenuous process going to one of these retreats. So I couldn't believe it because I had the book in my bag. I had the book in the bag. I pulled it out and I showed them. And I never got to meet Joe at the retreat, but they were there, and the people that were there on this retreat, you could feel the energy coming off them. And there's hundreds, if not 1,000 of these people at this retreat, and they're all high-vibing people, and the energy off this group was amazing. So there's something to us all getting together. Anyway, that was my Joe Dispenza story. There's synchronicities for you. This is the kind of thing that happens when you listen to your intuition. And I'm still not sure what the purpose of that was. If it was just to prepare us for those types of interactions where we're not starstruck, I guess, or what it is, I don't know. But it was a cool interaction, and it was a cool experience. We even stayed in communication with these people afterwards, although I got ghosted, but that's okay. It's fine. It's the way it is, People get busy and then they don't respond to things. It shouldn't be that way, but I've done it myself, so it's absolutely the way it works. Now, she was doing the Joe Dispenza course. She'd love to go on one of these retreats if possible. And I should be super interested in this stuff, and I cannot get into his material. I find it difficult. And she was doing the thing. She intended to click on one of the meditations today and do it. It was like an hour-long meditation. And she accidentally clicked on a different one. Now, I was struggling this morning. My energy was low, and I could tell that I was out of attunement. I just was. I couldn't move the energy. Nothing was flowing. I can feel it now. I can really actually tell. It's quite apparent to me right away. So I tried to go for a walk, and it started to pour rain. And then, so I came back, soaked. It didn't really work the way I wanted to. Ideally, I'd get my feet on the ground so that I could get the energy flowing through my system. And that is the best way to do it. But it started pouring, and it's like 5 degrees Celsius here. I was just soaked. I said, no, the hell with this. I'm going to come back. And one of the other best ways to do this is to shower or bathe, because you're running water over your body, which is in direct communication with the planet. There's a continuous column of water in the pipe all the way back to the source, and it connects to copper pipes which go into the ground. So it's quite a grounding system to shower, actually. So I did that. I decided to do that. Now, Amanda suggested it. This is another thing. She looked at me and she said, maybe you should go in the shower. And then I wasn't going to do it. And then she said, maybe you should go in the shower. And she was adamant. And I know better that she's getting messages from her higher self to tell me to do that, because that's what I need to do. And I'm resisting it. Okay, so I go in the shower. I started doing the thing that I do, where I open my crown chakra, I visualize opening my crown chakra, I bring energy in, and I spiral it down my body, and I stop at each chakra position, and I go down, spiraling all the way to the center of the earth, and then back up and back into my body. Well, normally I just visualize this, I do it, there's nothing, it does help, but I don't feel anything immediately. Just the water itself running over my body is helpful for the grounding process. Well, this time, as I'm spinning the energy and I bring it to my chakra, it's almost as if there was some sort of blockage, it would start to slow down, and I couldn't visualize it moving any faster. It was like it was in a sludge. And then I would get it going. So I cleared my crown chakra, and then I go to my third eye, and same thing, and I would bust the stuff out. And when I got to my throat chakra, I felt like a need to cough, and there was like a pressure. It was like closing up. When I got to my heart chakra, it was like molasses. And so I went back up above, visualized the energy coming back through, did it again, and it busted open. And then when I got below my heart chakra, everything just flowed. So I did it a few times to make sure I was clear and attuned. And I was like, that's Reiki. That's what you're doing. You're aligning and clearing your chakras. My ear's ringing. It's a confirmation earring. And I was like, oh, wow, I just attuned my chakras. Isn't that amazing? It's the first time I've ever done that where I could feel it. And when I came downstairs, Amanda was laughing after I told her what I did, because she said the Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation that she clicked on was on chakra alignment and chakra clearing, attunement. So the whole point of this is, when Amanda is learning something and doing something, we're so connected now that I will automatically learn the same subject, or will re-trigger things in my being that make me learn it as well. And it's also the same for her, because there was a night when I was doing shamanic journey and I was learning about it, and I did a shamanic journey that was designed around soul retrieval. And I did soul retrieval during the shamanic journey. And when we went to a sound bath that night, she spontaneously started doing soul retrieval work. And it's because I triggered that in her. And this happens all the time now. It's as if, and it's also, she's not interested in learning the things that I'm learning. She doesn't have to, and vice versa. So she's learning about Dr. Joe Dispenza's stuff right now. And I'm not learning about anything. I'm just trying to integrate all the stuff that I've learned to this point. So I think that's where we'll leave it. I don't know what that we would describe that as, but spontaneous learning, re-remembering. I don't know. We'll figure out a name for this title for this one. But I just want to, anyone who's listened to this point, I want to thank you for subbing and the support that I've gained over the last, well, since I started doing this. Like, it's nothing to click that button in the bottom and not watch my videos, but I'm getting a lot of positive feedback as well, and I really do appreciate it. I'm hoping to turn this throat chakra into some sort of career, and I think that's what I'm best at, and I know that's what I'm good at, and I need to find a way to make that work, and I think YouTube is the first step in that direction. I don't know if it's the final step or where I go from here, but it's certainly been the biggest learning modality that I've had in regards to being that public speaker that I hope to be at some point. So I guess I'll leave it there. Like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.